Now you've got a weird situation where 2G might actually not be a large enough organization to be able to pay to relocate to LA. So they might have to partner or take on VC or something. I don't know how they'd find VC in this kind of climate. So I don't know whether they'd be able to, like, you know what I mean? Like, what do they do? Because if they wanted to, even if they wanted to sell to somebody who could do that, I don't think Riot would let them sell the Ascension spot because it would create a value for the... I don't know. It's super bizarre. It's super bizarre. So, yeah. In some way, last year we were all talking about what happens when a free agent team ascends, and that's complicated because the guard can just demand enormous amounts of money for salaries.
Do you think a new SA team is good, since the current SA teams are in general worse than the NA teams? Is there enough talent for another team?
Yeah, I mean, they're definitely... There is enough talent for another team, but, I mean, some of the teams are probably not going to be that great. The thing is, though, this year, MIBR and Furia were not that bad this year. They had some periods of time where they were bad, but they weren't just, like, sucking the entire way through. I mean, MIBR at the beginning of the year had their moments, and then they just fell over a bit. But MIBR were not playing badly at the beginning of the year. They were a pretty damn competent team at the start of the year, and then they just fell over. But I don't think that's because, like, the team was terrible. I don't think it's like a talent issue necessarily. The real issue is, does 2G have enough capital to be able to ascend, relocate to LA, and invest in their team? Like, get a good replacement for Spike and actually have a chance of putting their team in a good place to be able to make playoffs so that they can make the most of ascending. Because otherwise, they might end up being too small of an organization. And I haven't done a lot of research into 2G. I don't know how small they are. I might be way off in this estimation. But when you have a scenario like this, those are the kind of concerns I think that are more relevant rather than just like, is the region going to be good? It's just more talent in there. It's going to be fine. Imagine they do all that for 1 year. Yeah, absolutely. That's why I said that the 1 year thing was actually a bad change for tier 2. Meanwhile, the general community was just guzzling their own knobs at how they'd managed to persuade Riot to make it, like, merit-based. It's just, it's not good for the ecosystem. Even Furia struggled massively when they were chosen. He expects it'll be even harder for 2G. Yeah, I mean, I think that is the real concern. I don't even know how you fix that kind of concern. Because what might end up happening, right? Let's view this from Riot's perspective, okay? So let's just hypothetical universe, 2G can't actually afford to relocate. Or maybe even don't want to relocate because the fact of, like, the amount of money they'd have to spend to relocate versus only a year's involvement. Maybe they just think, listen, end of the day, I don't think this would actually work for us. Like, it's a cool opportunity, but I don't think we're best placed to be able to work off this. Okay, so they decide they can't do it. What do you do in a scenario like that? Do you try to allow 2G to sell to another team? And if so, how do you allow that to also sync up with Riot's decision to not let the team sell their spots? Because they are just selling a VCT spot at that point. If you can decline to ascend and then be economically compensated for that, then that is the equivalent of selling a spot. Now, maybe you wouldn't get the full value of the spot or something. Maybe Riot would force you to, I don't know, sell at a small rate or something. I don't even know. Like, it's such a weird thing.